very much. I appreciate the energy, but we're going to get started here in three, two, one. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Rundown, where we talk about 2A news and conservative views. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. But as we all know, I do not do this program by myself.
That's right. My name is Mike Piwowarski, coming to you live from the East Coast. That's the coast with the most, from the co-host with the most here on the Rundown. 2A views, conservative news, and Craig, guess what day it is?
Oh, it's that day.
Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Who's ready?
Throw Punch Thursday, bitch.
That's right. Folks, it's Throat Punch Thursday. We very much appreciate y'all tuning in. We appreciate you liking and sharing the program and encouraging your friends to do the same. Mike, how are we doing today?
Not too shabby, sir. Things are going good. Again, I'm here at Magnet's place at Lion Arms, helping out Lion Arms USA, lionarmsusa.com, or at Lion Arms USA. At what? At Lion.
We say Lion Arms Cuba. What?
I don't know what he's talking about. He's changing the Instagram on me right now as we speak. If you can find them, you can find Lion Arms and get online and call them. They're going to give you 15% off if you mention the Rundown. That's guns.
Very nice.
Guns.
Very nice.
15% off guns. But you got to wait. He's going to mark them up 20 first if you tell him. So
there you go. There you go. Sounds like a plan.
He's
missed you yesterday, sir.
I was headed home and the traffic went, "You're not going to make it. You're not going to make it." So I didn't make it.
Been there, done that. I know the feeling. I definitely know the feeling.
Everybody that's ever been to Central Florida, been to Orlando, they know the saying, Orlando's only an hour from Orlando.
So I wanted to share something with you. You know, I'm kind of still working here on the studio, setting up for different looks and whatnot. And I set up my camera. I got my monitor set up and I got all that fun stuff set up. The problem is that I set this thing up and then I realized, I realized that the side angle view really wasn't working. So I tried to do a little bit more diagonal, so you could still catch most of the face. The only problem, Mike, is that it looks like I've got two guns pointed at my head.
Yeah, that's no good. That's no good.
That's not good. I'm being held hostage.
Yeah.
Part of the problem is I'm holding myself hostage.
Yeah, right. I showed you mine, right?
Huh?
The second camera?
Yes.
Camera one?
Like
Camera
this?
two.
Camera two.
Camera one? Camera two. Camera one? Camera two.
And what's nice is that camera travels with you.
It's quick. It's quick. I mean, it's not as fast as Chuck Norris, but it's quick. Yeah.
Not as fast as Chuck Norris. Excellent. Good stuff. Hey, how's the weather there, man? Are we starting to see kind of the spring weather starting to show up?
It's 85 degrees today, and we don't have spring here. We just go from it was 50 to it's 85. There's no spring. It's just
there you go.
80, you can count 85 as spring, but probably within another 2-3 days, all those jokes we were making about not having to shovel snow. Yeah, it's payback time. Yeah, it's payback time. Yeah.
No worries. Well, we're actually experiencing some nice weather here. We're going to be doing. It's going to be mid 60s today, in mid 70s by the end of the week, and I'm just hoping that kind of weather lasts through May. Because once we get into June, we start getting a little hotter. But it's beautiful weather out here in California, in Sacramento, anyway.
We technically have spring. It's about 4 hours long. It's that period between 55 and 85. It takes about about till noon to change. Yeah.
So then I guess with global warming, it's probably lasts about 4.5 hours.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. We get the big global warming going on. We got
Got
we
the
got
big
we don't have
global
global
warming.
warming. We got global humidity is what we got. That's our
Global
problem.
global
We'll take,
humidity.
we'll take
That
the
does not
warming. We
sound
just
like
don't want the
fun.
humidity. Yeah, we don't want the humidity with it. Yeah, yeah. It
All
gets
right,
so humid here,
folks.
Craig. People don't understand this. It gets to 99% and 100% humidity, and it's not raining. You can go outside, and if you want to drink a water, you just go like this, and you can get a drink of water. Now you keep your teeth closed because of the bugs. You don't want to swallow the bugs.
Do not want to swallow the bugs. They're pretty big bugs.
We get bugs.
All right, sir. Well, hey, let's go ahead and get into it. But as you know, before we do, we've got to give a quick shout out to our sponsors.
Yeah, let's say hi to our good friends over at Hitman Industries. In fact, I had lunch with those guys again yesterday, about once a week. Try to get down there. That's hitmanindustries.net. If you got yourself an AR in the past 5 years, you probably got one of their barrels and don't even know it. Well, now you could buy from them factory direct for your next AR build or to rebarrel your current AR platform. That's hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. Now you can take part in California's future today. If you want the best in tactical concealed holsters on the market, get on over to Hog Holsters. It's HAWGholsters.com, hogholsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown. It's all one word, no spaces, all caps. Get yourself a couple bucks off that awesome holster. And if you want the best in field gear, tactical gear, you're going outdoors, you got to take care of some business, you can get everything except the gun at uscombatgear.com.
That's right, folks. Those are our sponsors. Please take a moment, check them out, spend some money with them, and if you do, make sure you let them know that the guys over the Rundown sent you. All right, we're going to go ahead and get into today's stories, starting off at the very top of the heap. Preparing for the Haitian invasion. If you've been following the news, and I know a lot of you don't follow the news, you wait for us to follow the news for you, and that's okay, because we're on it. But anyway, you know that there's a big upheaval going on down in Haiti right now, that a warlord named Barbecue is kind of running things there now. And, well, needless to say that when a warlord named Barbecue is running things, things probably aren't going too well. So that is leading many to anticipate that we're going to see an increase of what do we call them? Visitors, uninvited guests, however you wish to refer to them. But chances are, well, at least U.S. border agents right now are preparing for a wave of Haitian refugees. It says here, U.S. Border Patrol has put its agents in Miami on high alert ahead of a potential influx of Haitian refugees amid widespread gang violence in the Caribbean country. Quote, one landing will cripple the station and our ability to respond to other traffic. An internal Border Patrol email obtained by the New York Post said, adding that, quote, with the breakdown of the government in Haiti, repatriating Haitians may not be happening for the foreseeable future. Now, Mike, I guess the first thing that I say, I kind of think when I look at this, my first question is, okay, I get it. People come into the country illegally. We should be looking to repatriate them. But why is it only the Haitians that we're interested in repatriating?
I don't know, Craig. I would like to start off by saying, though, if you have a warlord named Barbecue, I think that proves that the world idiocracy is here. I think we're there at this point. I think
well,
that's
of course. Now, if he invites you to the barbecue, as long as you're not the one being barbecued, that might actually be a good thing.
True. And my question for him would be, vinegar or mustard based? What are we doing? That's what I want to know. What kind of barbecue are we doing? Listen, Haitians are one of the many cultures in South Florida. They've been in Florida for many years. The problem is, again, the undocumented coming through. Now they're fleeing a oppressive regime. That's the kind of thing that this country allows people to come and seek asylum for, not just, I don't like Mexico anymore, I'm leaving, or I don't like Guatemala anymore, I'm leaving. This is the illegitimate reason, although they have to understand they have to come, they have to go to a border entry point, they have to do processing. And if you just try to, get on a floating Volkswagen and come over here and run up the beach and run into town, the Border Patrol will grab you. Will grab you up. And if they don't, and this is kind of a reason the Border Patrol is doing their job, the governor here, Captain Florida, has made it clear that we will grab them up and we will bring them to you and throw them over your fence, and they'll be in your compound, not ours.
There you go. There you go. But I guess, like I said, one of the things that's interesting is, and I think that one of the reasons why you're seeing them talk about this is because that is such a priority in Florida to make sure that they secure their borders. But unfortunately, it's not in the rest of the United States. Everywhere else in the United States, if you happen to be Mexican, if you happen to be Afghanistanian, if you happen to be Chinese, if you happen to be anything else, Afghanistanese. You like that one?
Yeah.
But
they're known as Afghans. Yeah.
I know they're known as Afghans. I like Afghanese.
All right.
I prefer.
I got some pronunciation stuff for you. I got some pronunciation stuff for you on the next one. So
okay.
We'll
But I'm like, once again, it's just funny because once again, if they're Haitian though, they got to go back.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the whole thing was, their country's been overrun by a warlord, right? So you got to try and do what you can diplomatically to oust that dude and let them go back to their crap hole country.
There you go. Let them go back. Well, see now, well, I appreciate your editing of the phrase, but I believe the appropriate term was "it whole country."
Listen, if I don't understand how that country is so bad off with the millions and millions of dollars that the Clinton Foundation sent there, it should be a paradise.
Well, I'm sure he probably spent it on Haitian hookers, is what he probably spent the money on. Just saying.
Yeah, the bypassed Haiti and went straight to Epstein Island with that money.
That would not surprise me one little bit. Not one little bit.
Yep.
All right. This is a story that one that does not surprise me one bit. We've already talked about how in Great Britain the National Health Department has basically said they are no longer going to perform surgeries or provide gender affirming or basically sexual trait modification drugs to minors because they saw not only did they see no evidence of any benefit, but they also saw no evidence that it was actually safe. Well, now there is a study out dealing with what's called the vagioplasty, which is basically where they cut off the penis. They basically drill out a hole there where the stuff normally would be. They create a wound, and then they use parts of the penis to line it and then call it a vagina. Anyway, what they're finding now is there is a study that has come out that basically notes that suicide rates for those who have gone through this process, suicide rates supposedly were already high. Well, guess what? Now they're doubling after they do they're still calling it, quote, gender affirming. I call it sex trait modification. Sex trait modification. But anyway, let's hear. It says, men in California who remove their genitals. Oh, this was even in California. Ooh. Men in California who remove their genitals via transgender surgery later tried to commit suicide at twice the rate as before undergoing the surgery, a study found. The overall rates of suicide attempts doubled after vagioplasty or the removal of the penis. A simultaneous construction of a vagina-like opening. I like that, a vagina-like opening. The study found, even while recognizing that. What?
Nothing.
Okay. Rates of psychiatric emergencies are high both before and after gender-affirming surgery. So, in other words, the point is that people who feel the need to transition to another gender, one, suicide rates are high. Now, they're saying it's because they're not the other gender, or at least they're not being able to have the processes done to or to become that other gender, although we know they're not becoming that gender. But now we're finding out that it actually doubles when they do. How about maybe, instead of the suicide being an effect, a suicidal ideation, maybe, just maybe, there's another thing that's causing both of the two, as opposed to, that being the cause.
Yeah, listen, first off, Craig, if you're going to describe the banana-ectomy in detail again like that, you've got to give a brother some warning. You cannot just start. It was like watching the shortstop get hit with a line drive to the boys. It was just painful. I went down to a knee. I couldn't. It was hurting. You can't. You feel the pain. Two, and you've got your pronunciation a little off. There's two correct pronunciations for this. It's either vaginaoplasty or vaginoplasty. So you must say you've dropped a couple syllables out of there. You do a lot of words, but it's either vaginoplasty or vaginoplasty.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, that's just a hard one for me to. That was just hard for me to just read, let alone.
Oh yeah. Well, let's take it off. It won't be hard for you anymore. We'll just give you a whole.
Hey, if you take it off, it won't be hard for me anymore, right? Exactly, no, thank you. Right. That is going to double the likelihood of my committing suicide.
Listen, if I look down,
study just said it.
Listen, if I look down and it was gone, it would definitely be committing suicide. It'd be going on right there. Like, wait, it's what? It's gone? All right, I'm out. Yep. Goodbye. Craig, and this study has actually got lower numbers than the last study. The last study was 40%, and I know we talked about this before. It was pre-operation, it was at 40%. Post-operation, it was still at 40%. Now that included suicide attempts and thoughts of suicide, which is why it may have been a higher number. But again, you're right, and this is where you left off. At this point, when the numbers are not changing, when you're trying to do a medical procedure, it might be time to look at the mental health aspect of this, Craig.
Well, right. But see, now here's what's so funny about that, Mike. You do know that gender dysphoria used to be considered a mental health affliction. It used to be considered a mental health disorder.
It's still considered a mental health affliction everywhere except with our current administration.
Well, more and more. Well, it has become a mental health issue that for some reason the whole world decided that we needed to deal with it medically. Like we're gonna okay, so you feel like you're a chicken, we're gonna make you look like a chicken.
Craig, you understand this. Let's dig a little deeper now. Let's get down to the root cause of this. The whole country's been thinking this way for a year or two now, right? And it was thinking that way a couple of years prior to 2016, because you have certain administrations that say, listen, if you want to play ball with the U.S., which means get checks from us, you need to agree with us on certain policies. And that's why the rest of the world. Do you think some third world crapple gives a crap about this? No, but they're willing to say it in order to get our government to write them a check to take care of cleaning their garbage up for them.
Well, but we're talking, these are 7 industrialized nations. But you're right, they depend on us for money. And their whole thing was, yeah, if you want our money, you've got to start transing your kids.
Exactly right.
And once again, and I will say it one more time, if you are, number one, if you are an adult and you decide that this is what you want to do and how you want to live your life, I am all for you. As long as you are making a fully informed decision and you don't require me to be okay with it or me to fund it or anything like that, then you go live your life. But part of the problem now that I have is that we're finding more and more that the information and the guidance that people who are deciding to go through this, they're not getting all the information. They're not getting all of the guidance. They're not getting the sort of counseling and care that they're supposed to get before they go through it. In other words, they're not making informed decisions.
No, all they're giving them is the scalpel to the junk. They're like you said, they're jumping straight to the medical procedures.
Yeah. Anyway, and then you add to that the degree to which academia, entertainment, and society and the progressive Democrat liberal establishment and the technology community is pushing this. There are a lot of people who aren't even really dealing with gender dysphoria, they're just part of a social contagion, and they're finding more and more that these folks are succumbing or at least becoming victimized by once again by this social push.
As Steven said in Braveheart, they're not right in the ed.
They're not right in the head.
Yep.
Bah. I just watched that movie last weekend. That's one of those ones that, man, if it's on, I'm watching it.
Yeah, I can't watch the first part. I don't watch the first part. I wait till we get to the fighting.
Well, yeah, the first part's a little. Well, until you get to the point where he's coming to save his girl, where he's riding
Yes,
in.
right. The fighting. Yeah, when we get
Right.
to the fighting, that's when I join up. Yeah.
There you go. He's like, yeah, I don't need the love story. I just need the fight.
Yeah. No. The fighting is my love story.
The fighting is your love story.
Yeah.
Says a lot about your marriage, Mike.
Get yourself a crazy woman. You'll never be bored.
You'll never be bored.
No.
All right, now that brings us to Keith Ellison. You guys may remember Keith Ellison, former congressman, now attorney general there in Minnesota. Needless to say, he's got a war on the Second Amendment, or at least, well, he's got a war on the Second Amendment, but specifically he has a war on the ability to sell legal firearms. And over at MLN, they got an interesting little article on him, written by David Codrea. It says here, Democrat AG
Codre.
Ellison.
David Codre. You know him. It's David Codre.
Codre. Okay, I'm sorry. Look, yeah, it's kind of small.
You
I'm
can't
sorry.
pronounce-
Sorry, dude.
You can't pronounce
Sorry,
the names of friends. That's horrible.
How many people do you call by both their first and last? Hey, I can pronounce your name, which is kind of sad. It says here.
Well, that's just you. You're just kind of sad, but that's
I am kind of weird.
go ahead. Let me see your last name. Go ahead.
Piwaworski.
Oh my God, that's perfect. It's like you grew up with me or something.
It says here, Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison is accusing Fleet Farm of violating state law when the retailer allegedly sold firearms to, quote, straw purchasers, according to a newly filed court documents. ABC affiliates KSTP Eyewitness News reported Monday. Defendants knew or had reason to know, based on the circumstances of the sales and the information known to defendants, that straw purchasers were not purchasing for themselves and were buying firearms for others. Ellison charged, according to the Midwest retail chain and accused the retail Midwest chain of violating the Minnesota Gun Control Act. A citizen can purchase traditional rifles and guns without a permit. Purchase of a handgun, however, requires a valid permit that will include a criminal background check. Likewise, the purchase or transfer of a pistol or semi-automatic military-style assault weapon will require completing a purchase/transfer permit. Now, Mike, I'm not real familiar with just general, gun laws when it comes to, in particular, the state of Minnesota. But they're saying, what I do not understand when it comes to straw purchases, they say no or should have known. And I'm trying to figure out how, when you say should have known they weren't purchasing it for themselves, it says here that they sold 13 guns during a 12-month period to one person. How is that? How should they have known that they weren't purchasing it for themselves?
Yeah, this is at Fleet Farm. By the way, I had no idea Fleet Farm sold guns. I thought they just made enemas. I thought that's what they did there. And by the way, this is the Minnesota Attorney General. I just want to say, what's this all about? Right?
What's this all about?
Listed 12 guns in a 13-month period, or 13 guns in a 12-month period, whatever it was. You got to bump up them numbers, bro. That's low. I mean, I don't know where you're coming from. I don't know where you think 12 one gun a month means I'm a straw purchaser. Now, listen, Craig, when they say known or should have known, I get it. If you got two people standing next to each other and the one guy's going, no, that one, do the paperwork for that one. That's a straw purchaser, you know? Like, here, I'll give you the money, you go buy it because I'm not allowed to have it. That's a straw purchaser. A person that wants to buy 12 guns in a 12-month period, uh, that's what we call a gun aficionado, right? That's somebody that appreciates the finer things in life.
Well, exactly. Now well, I don't know if I don't know if you heard, but so in California, they actually just the one gun a month thing in California actually just got thrown out by a federal court. Because in California, you had that problem. They literally, you could not buy more than one gun in a 30-day period. And that's any gun, a handgun or a long gun, which I said was really dumb because, like I said, what if I got picked up on a 5150 and, I got held for 72 hours. I lose my right to own firearms. So now I've got to try and find X number of people to be able to hold my firearms because only one person can do it every month. I mean, it's just
But
dumb.
you got picked up on a Van Halen album?
5150. No, I did not. I said, what if? 5150 is a 72-hour hold. Basically, you got, you involuntary. It's an involuntary hold. In California, you lose your gun rights if you get picked up on a involuntary 72-hour hold, and then they require you have to go to court to get your rights back.
That's called a 5150.
Well, we just call it 21, but yeah, the California 5150.
See, now I'm on the right coast, and all we know about a 5150 is it's a good Van Halen album. That's about it, or Van Hagar album.
Well, there
I've
you
never
go.
heard that.
It just means you're not right in the head.
Not right in the head. So it's like a Baker Act 72-hour hold. Yeah, a mental health act. Yeah, I never heard it called a 5150. I didn't know that. I know 187. Thanks to my boys there in the hood. This is just a ridiculous. They're trying to enforce this firearm hold again. If the sole element of this crime is that this person purchased one firearm a month, well, I live in a state that many people would be going to jail. All right, it's quite common, for those that appreciate guns and have collections to buy, one a month. That's nothing. That's like I said, that's average, I would say.
Well, yeah, and it's so what also. So for example, what if you don't live near the gun store? What if you go and you're like, okay, I see these 3 firearms that I'd be interested in purchasing.
My problem is I do live near the gun store. That's why I buy one.
Yeah, I feel your pain. But I don't know. I just think once again, this is an example of blaming the tool or blaming the industry. And this is the thing. They realize they can't go after your right to own a firearm. So they're going after everything tangential. They're saying you don't have a right to sell a firearm. You don't have a right to own or possess ammunition. They're even trying to say you don't have the right to own the type of gun that you want to own. And I'm like, there's a reason why the Second Amendment is so simple.
I think
shall
we both
not
agree
be
on
infringed.
I think we both agree on this, Craig. The Minnesota Attorney General is a tool. You got that right. Yeah.
He is definitely a tool.
Yeah. Blame the tool. There he is. Yep.
There he is. Exactly. Okay. Moving right along. Honor, duty, country are out at West Point. That's right. This was being reported by Breitbart News. West Point is changing. When I first heard it reported, it was a little inaccurate. They were saying that they were changing their motto, but they're actually changing as a part of their mission statement. They are removing these things. And according to Breitbart News, it says West Point removes duty, honor, country from its mission statement. And it says here, West Point Superintendent, Army Lieutenant General Steve Gilland, I'll say Gilland, on Monday announced a new mission statement for the venerable institution that replaces the words duty, honor, country for the generic, quote, Army values. And I will read here the new mission statement. It says, to build, educate, train, and inspire the corps of cadets to be commissioned leaders of character committed to the Army values and ready for a lifetime of professional excellence and service to the Army and nation. What sense does it make? Why would you remove duty, honor, and country?
So I really, I appreciate this story because it helps spread knowledge. And I think this is kind of a non-story from Breitbart. They're trying to make something here that I don't believe exists. Duty, honor, country was the key phrase from General MacArthur's farewell speech when he was leaving public life. Let's say that this was in the 60s after he was retired. And in fact, Gregory Peck did this in the movie MacArthur. If you ever want to just watch an incredible speech, watch the Gregory Peck MacArthur speech on YouTube. It's incredible. It brought a shiver just talking about it to my spine. Duty, honor, country. Duty, honor, country. Personal values, Army values, and the Army now has their values, and they've been set out, and they've always had their values as far as ratings and everything, but they published them. Geez, I want to say it was mid '90, and it's let me see if I remember them: loyalty, duty, respect, honor, and integrity, selfish service, pride. It's leadership, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, pride. That's them. So the Army values. The Army still has its Army values. Within those. Lie, duty, honor, country. Duty, honor, country was not added until the mission statement, I think, in like 97 or 98 there at the Academy at West Point. And it's very typical. And this is the point where I get to the point. I understand why this is a big deal. Every new commander takes over, or a new superintendent of the school, they're the new commander. They have the opportunity to rewrite the mission statement, and focus on what they want to focus on. This new commander decided that he was taking duty, honor, country out of there, and you just heard the new mission statement. It's nice. It's not bad. It's not offensive. It's not woke leading in any ways. And duty, honor, country are still there. It's still on the walls, all over the buildings, and it's still part of the motto of West Point. It's just not in the mission statement anymore. So I'm not sure why this got such publicity that it did.
Well, they did note that it is still part of the motto. But they took those words they took those parts out of the mission statement. I think your first instance was correct in that they wanted to get people's attention, and they got my attention. So, which is why I was like, oh, well, let's talk a little bit about that. But yeah, buried in the story, they do note that it's still part of the motto. It's still all over the place. It's still part of their tradition. It's just not in the mission statement anymore. Right. I guess people are concerned about, what are the quote unquote Army values? Because we know that under Joe Biden and under Barack Obama, those Army quote unquote Army values have taken a little bit of a hit.
Yeah. And let me give it to you again. Loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, integrity, and pride. I think I got them out of order. It's loyalty,
personal courage. You got them all, actually. Personal courage was because I'm looking at it now on the website. Personal courage was the only one. You got all the rest of them right and in order.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of something they drill into you. Evidently, my drill sergeant was only 90%.
He was only what?
I missed one. My training was only 90% correct. I missed one. I got it out of order. So,
well, I guess we're gonna have to send you back to basic training.
I can't do basic training again, man.
I can't do it again. All right, before we head on to our parting shots, I want to give a shout out to two loyal listeners, Mr. Russell Bryant and the Gun Foodie, Mr. Patrick Collins. If y'all looking for ammo, hit him up, man. The Gun Foodie, check him out. They're in the big GA. Check him out. Give him a holler.
Yeah, listen, I asked him last week if he had some. I asked him last week if he had some 5.56 in stock, and folks, he's got it, and he's got some good pricing on it. So hit him up. He's got it in bulk too.
Very nice, very nice. All right, now that brings us along to our parting shots. Parting shots are brought to you by Hog Holsters. Just go to hogholster.com. Use the discount code The Rundown, all caps, no spaces. Get your Hog Holster on discount today. All right, here our first story. Now, I'll just say this. There was a game that we used to play when we were little. It was called Smear the. Well, there's a new name for it. More politically correct name for it, according to our friends over at the Babylon Bee. It says progressive kids play classic game of smear the obsessive patriarchal colonists who perpetuate cis whiteness and literal violence against indigenous people groups and the LGBT community.
Yeah,
I think they're talking about you, Mike.
Smear the oppressive patriarchal colonists. Yeah, that's me. That's me. Patriarchal colonists. Yeah. My people colonized this country about 100 years ago in New York City when they came from Europe. We're big oppressive patriarchal colonists. So
there you go. There you go. Now you know that the House actually passed a ban. It's not specifically a TikTok ban, but it's a ban that will build companies described like TikTok is described. And clearly progressives, well, they're concerned, Mike, because progressives fear that without TikTok, they won't be able to convince kids to join their weird sex cults.
yeah, I get it. Listen, they just better leave certain parts of TikTok alone. I'm just saying. It's how I waste my time during the day. You know, like the talking dog videos. You know, the rock star guy who does the talking dog ones. Yeah, you better leave that guy alone.
Well, you know, so the only thing I'll say is you can do everything on TikTok that you can do, for example, on Instagram or even YouTube Shorts. The only difference is that you may not have already built up a following there, but it's not like you don't have other venues. How about choosing a venue that's not owned by the communist Chinese that they've actually stated they are using as a form of cyber psychological warfare in order to destroy the United States of America? Just saying.
Yeah, but like you said, they're doing it the same way Facebook Reels is. You know, the same way Instagram is. It's not like it's not like in each message there's an embedded communist message that's slowly turning you into a Chi-Com. It's just they're just making our kids dumb.
They're doing the same, like you said, the same thing that Facebook and Instagram are doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Which, by the way, that's why some people voted against it, because they don't believe that it goes far enough. Just so you know.
Right.
Okay, and then finally, Don Lemon announces new show airing exclusively on MySpace.
Don Lemon.
Did you ever have a MySpace?
Lemon Squeezy.
Lemon.
I don't believe I did. The MySpace thing was very popular while I was in Afghanistan, chewing fine powdered sand for a year.
I never had a MySpace. When I finally started looking at it was actually when Facebook actually kind of came around, like late, like around 2009, 2008.
Yeah.
And yeah, never had a MySpace.
No. I did
Funny
not.
though how Facebook.
Do not believe I did, but yeah.
Facebook just like totally like ended MySpace.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Ended Facebook too. So
yeah, there you go.
It went from what it was to what it is.
There you go. All right, Mike. Well, it's about that time. Why don't we go ahead and give that quick shout out to our sponsors?
Yep. Say hi to Hitman Industries. That's hitmanindustries.net. You can get any caliber you like and any length barrel you want for your next AR rifle or pistol build. That's hitmanindustries.net. The California Republican Assembly fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. Now you can take part in California's future today. And if you're looking for the best in tactical gear on the market, you can get everything except the gun over at uscombatgear.com.
All right, folks. Well, that's going to do it for today. We very much appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate you liking and sharing the program and encouraging your friends to do the same. We will be back tomorrow. That's right, tomorrow for Free for All Friday. Hope you guys can tune back in. Till then, have a safe and fun evening. Stay out of trouble, Mikey. We need you back.
Vagina-oplasty.
Vagina-oplasty. A vaginal oplastiness.
Vaginoplasty.
Oplasty. Is that in honor of like St. Patrick's Day? Now it's like oplasty.
Oh, I'm going to go out and get vagina-oplasty. Yeah, that's a good one.
All right. Talk to y'all tomorrow.